I'm Stay Hall.
And I'm Wallace Hall.
And together we are the Halls. And this is
The Hallway.
Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of The Hallway. It's an episode, right?
It is an episode. Yes, it is.
Okay, I don't want to be taking, liberties that I shouldn't be, but I consider these to be episodes. But anywho, I digress. Welcome. Today we are just going to chat a little bit about fussing and fighting and arguing.
Fussing and fighting and arguing.
Right, because it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
In relationships and in marriages. And the fact of the matter is, it's normal.
Yes, it's going to happen.
And it's okay.
Yes, it is.
But there have to be some ground rules.
Or boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yes.
Certain things are not okay. So you have a disagreement. You're not seeing eye to eye on something.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine to express that, but it's how you express it. And as things maybe escalate, for lack of a better word, and maybe the argument or disagreement goes on for a while and you're still not seeing eye to eye and emotions are heightened and whatever, you still have to stay within those boundaries.
Yeah, one of the biggest things is all about how you respond and how you react. You try to stay within yourselves, and one of the things that we coach and try to teach people is you stay within those boundaries, you stay within respect, because a lot of times when certain arguments extend beyond a certain amount of time, they are not about the initial argument anymore. They're about everything else but the argument. A lot of times they end up becoming about things that happened 2-3 months ago that hadn't been brought up. And then you just grasp the straws and, you argue for 2-3 hours. And then just like, what were we arguing about again? And so that's why a lot of times you got to keep it within the framework of the argument itself or the disagreement, and not go pulling stuff from other places that's going to cause more of a disagreement. And that just more is throwing more fuel on the fire, as they say. And things continue to escalate from there and escalate from there, escalate from there. And like I said, 2-3 hours will go by and you're not even arguing about what the initial argument was about. Somebody putting the microwave on high. You're not even arguing about that anymore. Now you're arguing about somebody opened a piece of mail of yours that was addressed to you and not them. So arguments can go like that, but you got to make sure you stay on the same page of argument. And that's one of those boundaries that we say, which keep it in context of what the initial disagreement was about, and let's not start pulling stuff from other things.
Digging in the crates.
Yeah, because some of us, I won't say who, but some of us have tendency to pull stuff up that happened 3-4 years ago.
It's always relevant, though, But anyway, we are supposed to be teaching the people what to do, what not to do.
I'm just being
what
real.
You also don't want to do is use your YouTube videos as a way to let somebody know what you don't like. No.
I'm just trying to keep it real. I'm just keeping it real. And I think a lot of people out there know what I'm talking about.
Anyhow, one of the things that we practice as a couple is, in that same vein, setting a time frame. Like, honestly, there's a time. So we decide we want to discuss something. We are having a disagreement. You know what? If we don't get it resolved by the time the sand fills the other side of this hourglass, and this is 30 minutes, which should be enough time. And not to necessarily say that when the sand reaches the other end of the hourglass, that everything is going to be resolved and we're good. It just means we're no longer going to deal with this now. It's time to take a time out, go to our separate corners if need be. And a lot of times we don't even have to go to our separate corners. Like, we have it down to a science where we really can table something and just keep it moving. And again, when cooler heads prevail, or maybe when you've had more time to think about it, we can revisit it at a later date.
Right, because one of the things that we find out is, things happen. And one of the most important things that we never can get back is our time. And it's nothing like spending a whole day, a whole hour, or arguing about something that you may not come to a resolve on. Because really, when it boils down to it, you're two different people come together for one purpose, trying to come together and work together. And you're just going to see some things differently. But you can't act like this is a court of law where I have to continue to try and prove my case when the other person may just not see it. You just got to get to a point and say, you know what? We're just going to have to agree to disagree, and then we move on. But if we're going to sit there and continue to fight about it where we got to go in separate rooms and someone's got to leave the house and all that, it's not worth it. Because if truly y'all are together and y'all are trying to make things work, then we just agree to disagree, and then we move on with the rest of our day. And that's just the bottom line on it.
Right. And something else that I love that we have been able to do in our marriage when it comes to disagreements is not getting mad. Like, to me, there's a difference in angry and mad. You can be angry or upset, but when you get mad, that's when the stuff that should not be a part of your marriage at all comes out. That's when you get into the hollering and screaming and name calling and cursing and all that. You should never allow yourself to get to the point where you are so at odds with your spouse where you're actually like street mad, like ready to fight. And so we realize that we're going to have disagreements. We realize that we're not going to see eye to eye on everything. And that's okay, because like he said, we're two different people. We don't share the same brain. We have tons in common. We are definitely equally yoked, all of that. But there are still going to be times when we just don't see things eye to eye, but we never get mad.
No, you can't do that, because a little situation that happened many years ago when we first got together, an argument blew up into something else. It's about who put the toilet paper on right. Was it supposed to go over the top or under the bottom? And that's what the argument started out about. But it turned into something completely different, something way out there. It turned
into how picky he is about everything. And so, but it does. And then I ended up getting mad at him for, throwing away my yams, and it's like, you didn't even mention the yams to me, but you can't do that kind of stuff.
You can't.
You can't keep on saying, and another thing, and another thing. And so that brings me to this point as well. It is best to address things when they happen. Now, it's not always necessarily the right time when certain things happen, but you don't wait too long. If there was something done and, it was during the time when you're both running out to work or whatever, and you don't have a time to address it right then and there, that's fine. But by the time you get home that evening, if it's still bothering you, bring it up then as soon as possible. Discuss it. Don't let it fester. And if you do decide not to bring something up, then don't ever bring it up. Don't save it for ammunition when you have another disagreement.
Right. And one of the things for that is not every battle is your battle. Not every fight you need to have a fight about. You need to pick your battles in certain situations, because you don't always need to prove you're right. If you're right, you're right. If you know it, who else needs to know it? You don't always have to prove you're right in a situation. Sometimes best, I know I'm right, so guess what? We can continue to move on, and we continue, because I'm going to probably say this throughout this video. You never get back time. Time is the most important commodity that we have. And here we both reached that 50 mark. And as my best friend now, Dion Cole, was talking about, I'm praying that I have more tomorrows than I had yesterdays, is what I'm trying to shoot. He said it's something else, but I'm hoping for more tomorrows than yesterdays. And since we reached this point, we don't have a lot of time to be fussing and fighting and arguing. Not every fight is worth, or every disagreement is worth us going to war about. Sometimes you say you agree to disagree. Okay, then that's how you feel about it. Then we move on, and then we get on about our day.
Right, because every disagreement you have is not going to be some earth-shattering, life-changing, we have to make a decision. Because again, like you said, you might be arguing about who put the toilet paper on right or wrong, who threw out my leftovers, who left the light on.
It goes over the top, by the way. The toilet paper is best over the top. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. As long as it's on the roll and it's rolling and you can pull it, toilet paper is toilet paper. But anyhow, it doesn't. But it does. It's these little things that really, when you think about it, yeah, it's an irritant. Yeah, it kind of got on my nerves a little bit, but it's not like we're making this major decision. When it comes to the big things, yeah, you do need to mull over them a little bit and have discussions. But
yes, of course.
When you don't have to come to any necessary decision or conclusion on something, most of the time, those arguments can just be like, okay, we're good. And that's what I ended up saying about the toilet paper. Like, you want it over the top, it can go over the top. So I try to pay attention when I put it back, but it don't make it over the top all the time.
Yeah.
But you've also decided that if it's not over the top, you can do what?
change
Take
it.
it off and flip it. And who ain't gonna even notice is me. So, there is a way to get past that kind of thing. But like Wallace was saying, we can't get back our time. And just like we can't get back our time, we can't get back our words. Meaning that once something comes out of your mouth, it is out of your mouth, now into that person's ears and into their brain and possibly locked in forever. You can apologize. You can say, I take it back. You can say, that's not what I meant to say, whatever. And that person may very well and should forgive you, being that you're sincere and we're only human. But we need to be very aware of that in the moment. Think before you speak. I know we've heard it a million times. It sounds cliche, but it is so important, especially when you are very emotional and dealing with the person that you love the most in this world. The last thing that you're going to want to do is say something that could potentially scar them for life. You know what I mean? It's like, especially when you're just saying it to try to hurt them in the moment, but that's not really what you want to do. And again, even once forgiven, you still said it and they know you said it. And we can't control what we remember and what we don't remember. So I just would say be very careful, because once those words go flying out of our mouths, we cannot swallow them back. They're out there.
Right. And that's one thing I noticed when some of the couples and things that we've counseled, and because everybody says, and I'm going back to time here, but what we've noticed is when people, the longer an argument goes, that's when you're grasping at straws, you're trying to say stuff, because you get to a point where you're so emotionally invested in this now, and you got to a point where now it's about, I'm trying to hurt them before they hurt me, or they hurt me, so I have to hurt them back. And that should never be a point where you're trying to do with your significant other, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, how you want to do it. There should never be a point where it's like, I'm trying to hurt them, because it's all about love, and I love them. I love them. I love them. I want to be with them, spend all my time with them. So if I want to spend all my time with them, I want productive time. I want time where I'm loving on them, they're loving on me, and we're just being that one. But we're so emotionally tied into an argument that I can't afford to lose, because they just might hurt me. You can't worry about that. You have to be love on both sides and say what? Love conquers a multitude of faults. And that's one of the biggest things about that is love is what you want to lead with when you're doing those things in an argument, because the other person may just be coming from a point, like I said, we don't always see things the same. And they're trying to get back, they're trying to hurt, things like that. Just take a pause out. Say, you know what? We just need to take a pause for the cause. Just take a pause. Because the cause is love that we have for our marriage. Take a pause, time out, and just sit here and think, so we can calm down to a different level, and have a level head so we can address what we're dealing with. And like I say, sometimes it may come to a point where we say, you know what? We're good. We're just going to agree to disagree and move on, because time is so important. And I'm not trying to spend my time hurting the one I love.
And something that we do that people might think is crazy is, like I said, sometimes we do need to take a time out, but we don't always need to separate. And we try to never do that. What we do is, if we are at the point where we're having this discussion, this argument, this heated debate, and we have decided, okay, our time is up, we're not going to deal with this anymore, we immediately do something fun together. Something we enjoy doing. Like, let's go for a bike ride. Let's watch a movie. Let's
play Simon.
Yes, let's play Simon. We like to play Simon. We like to.
That's
play
an old
Simon.
School game. Some of you young people may not know about Simon, but some of the more seasoned people.
Yes, we like to play Simon. We like to play Uno. Whatever it is that we can do, it's like we do it because we love to laugh. And laughter is such a cure for whatever ails you. You know what I'm saying? If you could start playing a game or watching a funny movie, whatever, and it's going to cause you to laugh together, that brings you back together. Again, it's so simple, and it may sound crazy or silly, but try it. I mean, it really does work. And the next thing you know, you forget all about whatever it is. And if it was something that's serious enough, if it needs to come back up at a later date, it will. But at least for that time being, it almost snaps you, almost like a shock collar for a puppy. You know what I mean? Snaps you right into like, okay, what am I in this for?
We're back on track now.
Yes, we're good. Like, this is not why we're married. We are not married to be doing all that foolishness and fussing about stuff. We are married to laugh and love and have a good time and be a team. So we just immediately like, Okay, let's go for a bike ride. Let's play Simon, like right now.
Yeah, that's what you do, and you continue to move on, because in most arguments, if you find out you limit it to 30 minutes, that's it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's have some fun now. Let's laugh. Let's talk. Let's watch a movie. Let's watch a comedy show. Let's do something that's going to get my mind back in the frame of, this is the person I love. This is who I'm with.
And it's funny because we do that, and sometimes, especially if the argument wasn't about anything major at all.
And most of them are not.
No.
There's anything significant.
That ends up being part of what makes us laugh. Like one of us will say, we're having a good time and laughing, but you was wrong, right? You know what I mean? It's just like, and that's how you really know it's squashed, it's done. It's not one of those things like too soon, can't joke about that. No, we can joke about it immediately, because as soon as you get your mind in a different mindset, you realize immediately, like, that wasn't even worth it. And usually when you have those kind of arguments, it's because one or both of you was probably cranky about something else anyway, didn't have the greatest day. And so that laughter and just being able to connect like that again just makes you realize it wasn't even worth it. It's just shifting the mindset. So much of everything we do in our lives, or I shouldn't say so much, everything we do is about our mindset.
Right, it is. I had the privilege a few years back to meet a couple who had been married I think like 65 years. 65 years together. And I asked the wife when I was talking to her, I said, how did y'all make it last for 65 years? And she said the key was they never fell out of love at the same time. Never fell out of love at the same time. And that was it was so meaningful to me. That means one would be upset, the other one was still trying to love. One was disappointed, was feeling down, didn't want to be in the situation, feel like they may not want to be in the situation, but the other was still fighting for the marriage. And that's just powerful there. So it's got to be a point of we're fighting for each other. And if you're fighting for each other, even when the other one doesn't seem to be, and you're fighting for it, and you're trying to lead with love and, like I say, with laughing, joking, and things like that, that's what's going to keep a relationship together.
And another thing too is just having that grace for each other and knowing that, we're both two imperfect people and you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. And so, you have to extend that grace to the other one and know they're not themselves right now. They're not, Well,
one of the things in that, neat, wonderful what you say that extend grace. But one of the things is you can't take yourself too seriously. You cannot take yourself too seriously in these situations. I feel
like you're above reproach.
That you can't be like, I always got to be right. I always got to be dominant or whatnot. Because a lot of times it boils down to it, when it comes between us, what difference does it make? If she's right or she needs to lead out and do something, then I need to take a step back and be her cheerleader, be the one that pushes her, then that's what you do. It can't be always, you can't joke on me, you can't take a shot at me, you can't do this and can't say different things, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Because I know she's not being mean. We're just trying to have a good time. So we joke on each other sometimes. So we call it crack or high side back in the day. Ripping or whatever. But that's just what we do. We call this just being happy, having a happy heart and showing love for one another.
You have to be able to just have that freedom in your relationship. And, you don't want to feel like you're walking on eggshells. So, I don't take anything to heart. Like, I know that he would never say anything intentionally to hurt my feelings or whatever. So it's like, when he says something to me about my hair looking jacked up or whatever it is, it's like, it's just funny to me. Or what he does to me all the time that is so goofy. I will say something about myself like, oh, my hair looks a mess, and he'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. Why?
I'm used to it.
It's like, and that would hurt some people's feelings. Like, what do you mean? But I know, because of the relationship that we have, that he's just joking. He tells me all the time, I am the most beautiful woman in the world. I look so wonderful. I'm whatever. So I know what he feels about me. But as soon as I say something about myself like that, and he says it, it's just a joke. And so you have to have that lightheartedness where you're not getting your feelings hurt every time your spouse says something, or even if they're serious and they're giving you a criticism.
Right. Even when we're around our friends and things like that, and we'll say something to each other, I said, I'm not gonna let you let these people think we don't have a happy marriage. It's just little things that we say that we just like to have fun and show each other love, and like I say, not taking everything so serious, and just being able to have a thick skin sometimes, and that's just part of marriage. You know, it's give and take. Sometimes you got to have a little thicker skin than what you would like, but it's all for the greater good is what you look for.
We went through a lot of that when we first got together because his fashion was kind of played. And so he used to like to wear these things called sweater vests. And I had to come up with a really nice way of letting him know that was wiggity, wiggity, whack.
Wiggity, wiggity, whack. Yes, she just said that. Yes, she did.
But you took it well, and I got him all the way together, y'all. Y'all know you be looking cute, right? But what if he was sitting here next to me now with a sweater vest? Like, no bueno. But that was one of the things, he had to take that constructive criticism. And now, here we have it. But no, seriously, y'all. Just fight fair. Fight fair. Have boundaries. Show grace. Don't say anything that you're going to regret, even in an argument, because an argument doesn't have to be about saying mean things. You can still argue and be nice, and just try to get over it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, even something, I just thought about that, even something we were saying about my wardrobe when we got together. That's a whole nother show. Guys who complain about their wives' wardrobes, buy her what you would like for her to wear.
Yes.
Women who complain about your husband or your boyfriend, your partner's wardrobe, buy them something you would like for them to wear.
Did I not replace those sweater vests with something else? I did. But the thing was, even with that, talking about that, it doesn't have to be an argument. It doesn't have to be, you don't even have to say anything, actually. Like he said, just buy it, because I opened him up to a whole new way of dressing that he just wasn't aware of or didn't think he would be comfortable in. Like, he didn't think he would ever want to wear shirts with a bunch of colors and flowers and the different patterns and stuff. He was pretty just, your black, white, khaki, professional dressing, or what he saw to be professional, which is, but he thought it had to be a certain way. And so I had to introduce him to colors and show him the things that look nice on him, and now he loves it. And so that is something that you can do, is just introduce them to something instead of saying something that could possibly hurt their feelings and then turn into an argument.
Right. Yeah, those things do happen, because people are sensitive about stuff, especially when you've been dressing a certain way for a while, or a certain hairstyle you've been rocking for a while. You really thought you had it going on or something, and now somebody's trying to change me. Well, a lot of times you're going to change because you want them to be happy, and sometimes we have to be willing to venture out, get outside of our comfort zone and venture out. And when we venture out, a lot of times, especially when you're older and you venture out, a lot of the things that are going on, you'll find that you really like.
Yeah.
You find out you like it in life. So be willing to open, listen to one another. But like I said, if you buy the outfit, if you buy the clothes, stop complaining. Oh, you need to do this. Buy what you want them to try and want them to wear, and see how that goes. And just all the way you introduce it, don't just come and say, I'm throwing away all your clothes are trash, so I'm buying you something new.
Right.
No, buy them something. I say, hey, why don't you wear this tonight? Why don't you wear this when we go out? Add something to it. Gentlemen, buy your wife a beautiful dress. Say, hey, I'm taking you out this weekend, and this is how I want you to dress.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, the night will go the way you want it to go.
It will be well received. So, guys, we hope that we were able to add some value and you were able to pick up some good nuggets from this little talk with the hallway. Please be sure to like the video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you already haven't, and I don't know why you wouldn't have by now, because surely you want to visit with us again. And while you're at it, hit that little bell, the notification button, so that you will be notified every time we drop new content. And if you would like more of the hallway, please visit us on social media. Visit us on social. You catch everything. We're going to argue about this when we get off.
We have a loving relationship. I'm not going to let these people think we don't have a loving relationship.
And don't ever do that to your spouse. But seriously, guys, go to stayhall.com, click the tab for the hallway, and it will lead you to our new book, The Hallway, a weekly devotional for today's thriving couples. We would love to see you guys on the rest of the World Wide Web, so please connect with us today. And until our next episode, I'm Stay Hall.
I'm Dr. Wallace Hall.
And we will see you next time in the
hallway.